And everybody, welcome to our presentation today on Sage 1 Accounting. Just a couple of housekeeping items. As we are a large group today, the lines will be muted. However, if you have any questions as we are going through this webcast, you'll see in the very top of your WebEx session, there's a little pull-down menu on there. You'll see that there's a chat window. Feel free to use the chat window to ask any of your questions. We'll be trying to answer your questions throughout the course of the webcast. If we're not able to do so, we'll allocate some time towards the end of today's presentation as well to ensure that we're able to answer any additional questions. In terms of, the invitation was sent out by my colleague, Mark Hubbard, whom I believe most of you know. In the event that you do not know Mark Hubbard, he is your Business Development Manager and responsible for the Western Canada area. He is really here to assist you with the development in terms of your business needs for cloud solutions. So whether it comes to Sage 1 Accounting as what we're going to be looking at today and the ways that it can streamline your business or facilitate your business, he's also responsible for other solutions such as Sage View, which is a business monitoring tool that would tie in with key performance indicators, allowing you to be a remote CFO or be a real-time advisor with your organizations. In addition to that, he has another number of different offerings, whether it's Sage Impact, which is a solution for all of your business needs, along with Sage Mesh and Sage View. Myself, I am a cloud solutions consultant. I work in collaboration with Mark. I am his technical counterpart, so I'm here to give you a technical overview of Sage 1 for both accountants and bookkeepers, but also for any of your clients. So if you're finding that you need a special event where you'd like us to present on your behalf in terms of Sage 1 as to onboard your customers, feel free to capture either one of our names. We do work together, and we'll be happy to be able to coordinate that with you. Today, we're going to be looking at a new version of Sage 1 called Sage 1 Accounting. It's been recently released in the Canadian market space, August the 1st. Many of you may have seen Sage 1, the older version, which was called Sage 1 Standard. This new updated version has about 100 new features and functionalities, and I'll try and cover most of them today to give you a sense of what Sage 1 Accounting can do. So with that, I am going to go ahead and transition to the actual solution. Again, if you have any questions throughout today's webcast, please feel free to use the chat in the Q&A window. This is also being recorded, and we'll be happy to present you with a link of the recording that you can use for your personal reference later on. So what you see before you here is Sage 1 Accounting. And it may look a little bit overwhelming at first, but it's really intuitive to use, and there's a number of different menus that are happening on this particular page. So starting in the upper part, you'll see there's a black ribbon. On the left-hand side, it says Sage 1 Accounting. If you keep your eyes navigating towards the right-hand side, there are a number of different icons that are located in that black ribbon. Very first one is a home icon. If at any point you get lost in the application, you can click on the house and it'll bring you back over to your starting page. Another nice benefit with Sage 1 is that both yourself as accountants and bookkeepers, but also your customers, you actually benefit from unlimited support with this solution. So there's an in-window chat, which is designed. All you need to do is click on it and complete the following screen, including your name, your email, and along with your question. Our support hours are open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A little bit of information on the analysts responding to your questions. They are typically, our analysts typically start on our Sage 50 product, and once we feel that they're comfortable with that solution, we then graduate them over to Sage 1. So you are really getting the cream of the crop in terms of support analysts for this particular product. To the right-hand side of that, you'll see that there's a little feedback button. So we're actually quite excited. We're the third country to receive this new platform called Sage 1 Accounting. It originally started in the UK, followed to the US, and now Canada. There are 13 additional countries behind us that will be deployed using the same platform. If there's specific feedback in terms of product enhancements or things that we could do better on, feel free to use this particular feature. We actually aggregate all of the feedback and we look at it on a bi-weekly basis and use it as part of our roadmap development plan as well. So a great way for you to look for new future functionalities. And as I say, this will be quite dynamic as we're growing this into more countries, all sharing the same platform. We're aggregating all this information and then deploying accordingly. To the right-hand side, you'll see there is a question mark. Well, that's just self-help document that's designed within the application. What we've also done is we've varied the shortcuts to the specific topics throughout the section. So you'll see here, whether it's on our customers or on the monies that they owe you, there's little question marks that are buried throughout. You can also access the help document by clicking on the administration part of it. And it's anything from getting started to how to create your contacts, to edit them, to what is contained within a contact record or a customer statement, all your reporting, your settings, banking needs, product services, and expenses. And if I was to click on any one of these subjects, you'll see that it's detailed, and it'll break down step by step as to what you need to do in that particular field. So a nice little feature that has been added in here. Coming back over to Sage 1 accounting, you'll see also that there's a mechanical wheel. This allows you to go over to the system settings. Also provided you with a shortcut in the secondary menu. So the menu that you would reside in probably the majority of your time here in terms of recording your expenses or invoices, doing all the banking or journal entries. There's, to the far right-hand side here, there's a little settings button, and I will get to this in a little bit. Other than that, when you create your account the very first time, you are presented with a getting started page, which is really designed to allow you to configure your client. Following that, we provide you with some daily graphical overlay charts that allows you to see the health of the business, so whether it's from a sales cycle perspective or an expense cycle perspective, as well as a cash flow statement and cash flow forecast. And we will look at this in greater detail. So, other than on this getting started page, there are in your system settings a couple of additional features that allow you to configure the solution. So I'll just point to the high-level areas. First, being over in your financial settings, you now have the ability to specify a lockdown date, so your customer cannot post transactions past a specific date if you wish. Also, when you configure Sage 1 from sales tax perspective, you now have the ability to change from a division. So if they work in a second or third division, you can go ahead and edit that number. It also allows you to select your tax frequency for returns, so whether it's monthly, quarterly, and annually. And we've created a report specifically around this within Sage 1 that allows you to prepare the tax return document that you can then submit directly to CRA. So great way for you to save also some time through this new solution. Also within the setup, over on the right side now, navigating over to the email defaults. In my case over here, I've created my account using this edward.sage email address. If I was working and I had several employees with me, for example, if Mark was working with me on the same platform, I wanted to put Mark responsible for any of the reply emails that came concerning the invoices or credit notes or any of these specific areas here that you see on the left-hand side. I could select those particular areas, and at the very top here under the change feature, I can specify an alternate email address so that when customers respond to the invoices or the statements that you've sent them, they would get Mark's email address in my case. In addition to that, I have the ability to customize the email defaults for each respective section. So if they need to be tailored a little bit differently, I have the ability to do so directly through here. You do have the ability still to sign up for online payments, so there's two options that are made available to you. You could either use Sage Payment Solutions, which works with Moneris in the backend. So if you'd like more information on that, we will be more than happy to get you to that respective department. Also, if you just want to get started with online payments and simple as using a PayPal account, you can go ahead and put in your PayPal address along with the bank default information. Lastly, what I'd like to point out in the high-level settings overview section, I can navigate down to the very bottom here where it's under the personalized Sage 1. If you are signing in as an accountant and you would like to change the configuration, you can go under this section and modify it over to your advanced settings. As I click Save, you'll see that my menu is going to change. now says accounts receivable, accounts payable. It's also been condensed, and areas in highlighted in blue, which are the areas of importance to you. The nice feature here is that as you sign in through your credentials, through your Accounts Edition, if you set it up this way, it'll only affect your credentials. It will not affect your customer's credentials. So if they sign in with their email address and they're used to having the other setup menu, they'll retain that as well. So it's not going to confuse them from that perspective. So that's what's contained in the settings overview. The rest of the information is pretty much in our Getting Started page over here. And this really doesn't take you more than 15 minutes to get through, set up a new client file. It's quite intuitive. Lots of functionality that's been also added in from this perspective. So you'll notice over here under the Create or Import Customers is the first field that's available to me. So if I navigate my mouse to the right-hand side on this blue icon through the drop-down, I have the ability to capture an import customer. This will bring a pop-up. There is a template CSV file that is provided for you to download. Just simply click on the file. As I open here, you'll see we've also included a couple of examples for you to follow if you're not sure. You can certainly override these examples as well. In terms of all the details that are contained within a customer record, I'll just go ahead and create a new one so I can show you what's included. So obviously, to be the business name along with the key contact name, their reference, the email address along with their mobile and telephone details. Second part of the screen allows you to specify an email address along with a province. If they reside outside of Canada, not a problem. You can also include addresses in Europe, UK, Ireland, US, or other territories. In addition to that, on the right-hand side here, there is other currencies that are available to you. So again, you can specify U.S. currency for this customer, Canadian, or again, if they were Mexico, Mexican pesos. Languages also available. You can change it to be in English, Spanish, or in French. You can also include their business number, a ledger account, and this is a nice feature that's been added in as well. When you're creating your products, if you are selling products, you have to now have 3 different pricing structures. So you could have a sales price, you could have a trade price, along with a wholesale price. If this particular customer file that you're creating was entitled to your wholesale pricing, you could set that as part of their customer record defaults, and then any invoice that you create and any product that you associate to that invoice would automatically capture the wholesale price of that particular product. Coming to the delivery address, well, it could be the same as the primary address that we put in the account details, or you can specify an alternate address if you would like. Coming to the Payments Details tab, you have the ability now to include a credit limit along with specific credit terms. You can also modify the specific messaging that's going to be sent as part of the email to that particular customer. On the right-hand side, you have the ability to store all of their banking information if required. There is a notes section as well. And from a reporting standpoint, you have the ability to associate it to specific analysis groups. So if I wanted to, for example, I've created a couple of custom groups here, personal account, commercial account, or customer group 3. I can go ahead like that for my reporting purposes. So as you can see, quite a bit of information inclusions has been added into the customer files. Once you've created your customer profiles, you also have the ability to enter the monies that your customers owe you. So through here, I could again import them. There is a template file available with the examples again. I'll just go over to the core information here, allowing you to select the customer, the date of the transaction, whether it's a bill or a credit note, adding a reference, details, and the amount. So those are features that have been added in. You also consider using Sage 1 for those of you that haven't from a bank feed perspective. So Sage 1 allows you to connect with 10,000 different financial institutions. It's quite easy to set up, so you just go ahead and connect to this particular part of the screen. As you can see, we've changed a little bit of the setup here. It is all set up all in tiles. I'm just going to remove a couple of examples that I've created in previous demonstrations. But if you wanted to add in a new account, all you would simply need to do is hover over one of these plus fields, click on it, select the type of account that you would like to add in. So it could be a checking account, savings, credit card, cash on hand, a loan, or other. Once I've gone in and selected my account type, I could put in the account name. So in no particular preference, you just select the financial institution and select your ledger number. At the very bottom over here, you have the ability to go ahead and connect, save and connect with the online bank. Again, all this is doing for you folks is removing the paper copy of a bank statement that you typically receive from your customers and making it into an electronic format. It's not going to allow you to move funds from a checking account over to savings, withdrawals out of their accounts, and nothing like that. Simply, it is allowing you to take the transactions in real time as they occur, and it allows you to post them against a ledger account. So if you have, one of your staff members right now that's doing a monthly bank run, or you're chasing down bank statements on a regular basis, this is a great alternative for you to go ahead and use that. If your customer is still not comfortable having you access to their information directly online, I know this happens, we've also found a solution for you through this new platform. So once you've created the accounts, go ahead and select it through the drop-down menu over here. You see that you have the ability to now import statements. So now all that's required from your customer is simply for them to go to their financial institution online, download a QIF or an OFX statement, and these are banking standards. They can send you that file electronically. You have the ability to upload it and then again post against those corresponding ledger accounts. Great features that have been added in from that perspective as well. Coming back over to our Getting Started page now, are looking very similar to what we've just seen on the client profiles, so I won't spend too much time here, but as you can see, you have the ability to import them, the vendor files again, keeping a very similar format, specifying addresses, currencies, payment details in terms of credit limits, notes, and reporting analysis groups are also available to you. Once you've created those, you also have the ability to also import the monies that they owe you, and it now brings you over to the third step, which is the setup of your chart of accounts. So each time that you create a new client file in Sage 1, there is a standard chart of account that is created for you. It contains 65 records. What we've done in terms of changes over here is that you have the ability to select if you want to filter by revenue accounts or by expense accounts, you can go ahead and do that. Also now, if there are specific accounts that you don't want your customer to post to, you could click on that particular account and you have the ability to make it invisible. So by unchecking the box here, which is included, it will not show as part of the ledger accounts, therefore they won't have the option to post to it as well. If you'd like to create a new ledger account, start do so by clicking on the right-hand side here, specifying the ledger name, the display name, along with the account number. Again, you can select the corresponding category types, whether they're revenue, expense, asset-based. If I was to select the very first one, you'll see we'll often stand our defaults here in terms of visibility. So we've included it in your sales and invoice as well as other receipts. But let's say that you were using it with the banking integration. You can also turn on other areas that you would like and save it accordingly. So those are the inclusions that we've done from the chart of accounts. You'll also notice that you have the ability to enter your opening balances. So we select the core accounts here on the right-hand side. You simply need to specify your debits and credits. If there are additional accounts that you'd like to look for, you can go ahead and do so. We've also now laid out the numbers, as you can see, and you can go ahead and search by a specific number if that's easier for you as well, as opposed to looking for it from an alpha perspective. So little enhancements that we've done that we've heard from our previous versions of Sage 1 in terms of what would be features to be added in. On the right-hand side here, there are a couple of optional extras as well. You have the ability to customize the invoices, so you can put in your company logo. You can also add in association logos if you would like. There are 4 templates that you can go ahead and select from. You can just click on them and preview them directly underneath. We've also designed, again, taken on the feedback, a service-specific template. So this one is really customized for service-based industries. On the right-hand side, you have the ability to change the prefixes, the numbers. Again, if you wanted to default the delivery address to a different one, you could go through this drop-down menu, putting in your general terms and conditions. If you are shipping physical products, you can also put in your packing slip terms and conditions, include a signature line on the packing slip, and a picked column on the packing slip as well. So lots of little enhancements that have been done from that perspective. Your products and services are now separated as well in the new version. So you have the ability to create or products or services. You can also import import them in as well, just to facilitate that setup process. Really, all that's contained in the file is an item code. You can set up your ledger, your default ledger account. As I mentioned earlier, you can set up different pricing structures if you needed to, so a sales price, trade price, as well as a wholesale price. On the right-hand side, you can, from an expense cycle, you can put in what your ledger account is as well as your cost price. Services are set up in a very similar fashion. The only difference is instead of having the tier pricing, they're based on frequency. Coming back over to our setup page here, as I alluded to in different parts of the solution, you have the ability also from a reporting standpoint to create different transactional analysis groups or group analysis. So on the left-hand side here, you have your different areas. You can click on the pencil to label them differently if you would like. And then you can enter in your unique codes. You can also put in your proper names, and you can select the active areas for this analysis type. And same can happen over under the group analysis. Once you've created all of those, again, you have the ability within Sage 1 to work with foreign currencies. So you can enable your foreign currency transactions, and you can also enable live exchange rates. That's as simple as selecting through the drop-down the corresponding currencies, and then they'll be added in. If you'd like to suppress them, just click on the X here on the left-hand side. It will also allow you to go ahead and remove them directly within the solution. So that's from the last but not least, you have also the ability to add in colleagues. So again, if I was the business owner to this particular file and I wanted to include my colleagues to be able to do invoicing, I'm not limited to the number of users that I can invite into Sage 1. I can just use an alternate email address by inviting the user here, and then I can go ahead and define their role. So in our case here, I've invited my colleague Mark to be part of my system. As you can see here, I've given them full access. However, if at any point I'd like to change that, I can go ahead and revoke his full access, move him over to a custom access, and then through the advanced permissions here, that allows me to select which areas I would like him to go ahead and see. So I could, again, give him full access to the sales area, but I could remove the financial statements, all the journals and settings, so he can't make any changes down the road. And that is essentially what is part of the new Sage 1 getting started. So as you can see here, I took quite a bit of time going through each step. It's not taking us more than 15 minutes, and then your client is really ready to start utilizing Sage 1. At the beginning of the day, they have the ability to click on the following charts, and we've expanded in this area. You have a graphical overview of what is going on from a sales cycle. Down in the second part of the screen here on the left-hand side, I have my outstanding sales invoices. It is laid out in terms of what is due in a dollar amount, as well as a percentage, as well as what is overdue. In the center of the screen, we'll have our overdue sales invoices. If I'd like to expand on that, I can click on the hyperlink for more information. To the right-hand side, any quotes or estimates that I've created, again, dollar amount in terms of what is won or percentage, what is pending, what is expired, and what is lost. In the second part of the screen, who my top 5 customers are identified with my top AR outstanding. And all the same information is available to you from an expense cycle perspective. So I'll just go ahead and click on it, but as you can see here, the info is essentially the same from an expense cycle. We also have a cash flow statement that's available, and there is a report by clicking on the blue icon that I can go ahead and gain access to. But other than that, it's giving me my opening balance, my cash flow in, cash flow out, closing balance, and liabilities offset along with my net. And last but not least, cash flow forecast as well is available. So as you can see here, quite a bit of information that has been included into the solution. Coming now over to our sales area of Sage 1. So if I were to create quotes and estimates at any point, I could go ahead and migrate those over to invoice. And just because I'm sensitive to your time today, I'll just go over to the invoices section of Sage 1. They all do look very similar. So a couple of enhancements that we've done on this menu. First of all, if you'd like to filter over a specific date, you can go ahead and select the outstandings, the overdue. We've also made these dates here sticky dates. So if I was to change this all the way to May the 1st, for example, and then I navigated away from this menu, as you can see here, we've gone back to July, but if I came back over to my sales area, and invoices, it's retained our date for us. So it's a nice thing if you're moving back and forth. It'll actually keep the dates in position. This menu or these columns are completely customizable for you. If I click on the little mechanical wheel here on the left-hand side, I can select what I'd like to display on this dashboard. I can also reorganize it how I would like to see an order of importance. There is also a secondary menu that's hidden. When I start selecting invoices, it'll pop up automatically for us. This allows me to batch print the invoices that I've selected, email them, export them as CSV, or PDF them. I'll just select the PDF option here to give you an idea of what the invoices look like within Sage 1. And here they are at the bottom. So I'll open up this PDF. As you can see here, they're nice and clean and very professional looking with all the information that's contained within. There is also another option, the More here. Under the More or Pay or Allocate, it'll bring me to a new screen. In the screen here, it's automatically retain my customer record. I can select which account this is being paid into, the date that I've received the payment, a reference, i.e. like a check number, and if the amount I had received was greater than the amount owed, for example, if it was $800, it will create a credit note on this particular customer file that I can go ahead and use for future use. So great features that have been added in from that perspective as well. I'll come back over to the invoices and show you what features we've added into the actual creation of an invoice. So first of all, I have the ability to a credit note if I would like, or an invoice. For today, we'll just again stick with the invoice cycle. I have the ability to search for my customer record. It can be by name, alpha, again, if it's easier for me to search by their name, or if it's easier for me to search by the number, and also go that fashion as well. I can always change my invoice date along with my due date. I can add in a reference if I need to modify the address that I've created with this customer file. I can go ahead and do that as well, along with the delivery address. Over in the products, again, same concept. I can either search by the alpha, or if it's easier for me to search by the number, I can also do so. I can change my ledger account if I need to. I can always change my quantities or my hours, override my price. A discount can now be specified in terms of a dollar amount, or it could also be specified in terms of a percentage. My taxes, I've configured this for British Columbia. But if it was GST, if it was PST, zero rated or exempt, I have the ability to select according. And overall, my tax amount, if there was a rounding issue, I do have the ability to go ahead and make those necessary changes. Again, from a reporting standpoint, if I had to associate a specific department, if I had to associate a specific sales rep, as well as a specific project, I could go ahead and do that as well. Coming over, let's say that I was shipping a physical product and Canada Post had given me the cost of $15. I can add that in directly into my invoice, and then all that's left for me to do is either save this invoice, I could save and email this invoice, or through the drop-down to my local printer, or if I'm creating one invoice directly after the other, I have the ability to do save and create new. So lots of features and functionalities have been added in from that perspective. You also have, through the drop-down here, the ability to create quick entries. I'll show you what those look like. So through the screen here, I have the ability to import quick entries or create them. Again, allow me to select whether it's a bill or a credit note, specific date, customer, so on and so forth. So lots of features that's been added in from that perspective as well. Expenses look very similar to what we've just seen on the sales cycle, again, just being sensitive to our time today. But you do have the ability to record vendor bills. You'll see here the menus pretty much look the same. You have the ability to customize. If I selected several vendors, again, I have the ability to condense them together. I could create credit notes and quick entries. For contacts that you've created within the system, we'll navigate over to that particular section as well, because we've done some enhancements. So first of all, on this screen, if I was to search for a particular customer, you'll see right here off of my dashboard on the right-hand side, I show the balance that is due as well as the balance that is owed. If I selected the actual customer file and I went into this particular customer, at the bottom of the file here, I have the ability to see all the invoices that I've created over a specific date range. In addition to that, and this is a great feature that's been added in, you'll see at the very blue button here, I have the ability to manage the statements. And this is great. Really excited about this feature. Under the Manage Statement, if I just toggle all the way to the very bottom here, I have the ability to schedule monthly statements. By clicking on the Enable Monthly Statements feature, I can see on any given day of each month, the system will automatically send off the outstanding invoices to this particular gentleman, and if they've already been paid, I'll just ask them to exclude the ones with the zero balance so that they're not included and not confusing to that customer of mine. Features that have been added there. So products and services we have gone over. In the banking, there are a couple additional features that I haven't touched on yet, which I'd like to. First of all, if you are doing the banking integration, you'll notice at the very bottom here, it'll tell you how many transactions have been imported in. Once you get those transactions, you can go ahead and click on that hyperlink. It'll bring you to a new screen. From the screen, if your customer is recording transactions in Sage 1 and it's now coming in through the bank feed and you didn't want to mess it up, you have the ability to click on the X here just to go ahead and suppress it. On the other hand, if you'd just like to create a transaction, you can go ahead and select your vendor or your customer, depending on what you're doing, as well as your ledger account, select your province and tax rate. Another feature that's been added in, let's look at our second line item here, Staples. Let's say that I went shopping at Staples and I bought $24 of goods that was personal and the $100 was business related. Well, what we can do is click on the splitting arrow, and I have the ability over here to specify which should be allocated to personal expenses versus what should be business expenses, which is a great feature. Once I've gone through all of my transactions, I can come back over to my bank account. Through here, through the drop-down, I have the ability to now also do a banking reconciliation. And it'll bring me to a new screen, again, over the statement date, statement end balance, and then I can just go ahead and do all the necessary updates required. With that as well, I have the ability to do any journal entries within Sage 1. So again, very similar to the old platform here, just putting in a reference to date. The only difference now is that you do have the ability to search for your ledger accounts by number as well as by alpha. Over under the reporting, I've alluded to this at the very beginning of today's presentation. We've added in a tax return report. So what this allows you to do is create a report directly through the system. So select your date range. You can calculate the report. It'll take all the necessary amounts. You have the ability, if you need to change your amounts, to click on the pencil here on the right-hand side, make adjustments and the reason for your adjustments. Once you've gone through this and you've completed it, you can proceed to the next step, which will create a download.tax file for you. As you can see here, I've created that file directly in my system on the previous one, and it's ready to be filed and paid. All I need to do is submit that file to the CRA. Other reports, we've also enhanced the reporting within Sage 1, so I'll come over to that particular section. Starting on the left-hand side from your Essentials reports, there's your Profit and Loss report that's available. Clicking on that, so again, I can select it over a specific period, or I can customize it for the date range that I would like. So there, this quarter, this month, last quarter, last year, this financial year, so on and so forth. It will automatically update the information accordingly. There is also a beta version of this report which is available to you. This beta version of the report allows you to go under a new tab under Comparison. Through the comparison area, you can do to this previous period or the previous year, and it will just display the information directly on the screen for you. Other reports that we added into the solution, so you have your balance sheet report, as you can see, the trial balance. There's a trial balance including periodic values. You also have your accounts receivable and accounts payable report. So again, this is the overview here with our customers, their credit limits, what is outstanding, and then the corresponding periods. If I wanted to get details of the reports, I could go ahead and click and capture more information. In addition to that, I can actually click, if I wanted to drill down onto an invoice specifically, I have the ability to click on the invoice directly to this report, and it'll bring me to that sales invoice number 4. Other reports that are contained within, you have under your cash reports, your cash flow forecast, your cash flow statements, receipts and payment daybook, unreconciled bank transactions, unallocated receipts and payments. On the right-hand side of our screen here, we have our sales daybook, our purchase daybook, profit analysis, general ledger. And as you can see, I've exported the general ledger as a CSV file. So it creates a shortcut tab for me over here, but also to my name, any reports that I've created and I wanted to export, I have them available through the drop-down menu as well. There is an audit trail that's available as well through the system. So selecting the audit trail, you'll see that it'll have all the user initials. For example, Mark Hubbard on August the 12th made an invoice. If I'd like to get the details of exactly what's transacted in the system, I can also expand on that as well. So, last piece over on the reports, if you don't want to use all these reports and you find it overwhelming, there's these little stars. You can highlight the ones that are important to you, making them your favorites, go over to your favorites tabs, then you can have your condensed version of the reports as well. And you may or may not have noticed as I've gone through this demonstration today, there's been this plus sign on the right-hand side of my screen that's consistently hovering over. Well, this plus sign is designed as a shortcut menu for you. So if I hover my mouse over it, it'll expand, allowing the user to quickly create sales invoices or vendor bills, record payments, as well as create customer and vendor information. That is our new version of Sage 1 called Sage 1 Accounting. You may be wondering a bit more information about the pricing. If your customer was to go to our website and subscribe on a monthly basis, this solution is available to them currently at a price of $30 per month. For those of you that have bought existing Sage 1 partner packs, there is good news for you. For the month of August, we are allowing you to use the licenses that you bought for the older version for the standard edition, and you can upgrade your existing customers, which will create a new file for them. So they'll have standard and they'll have accounting, and you can go ahead and use another license for 1-year subscription. Or if you'd like to identify new customers to the solution, you can still use your standard licenses for the month of August towards that. The licenses are a promotional offering. They do go from month to month, so they are able to disappear at any given time. At present, if you'd like to purchase your Sage 1 accounting pack licenses, those are available to you at $99 for 25 licenses, which gives you 1-year subscription. So meaning that your customer wouldn't have to pay the $30 per month for the first year. It breaks down to $4 per month. So their perceived value is that they're getting a solution which is at a cost of $360. However, it's only costing you $4 per month. I am going to be opening up a poll, so it will be on the right-hand side of your screen. If you could please take the time to answer the poll to let us know if you are interested in purchasing or not purchasing the Sage 1 partner packs. If we already have your information on file, we'll just go ahead and process the order on your behalf. We'll send you the licenses within a 24-hour time period. If we don't have your information on file, we'll certainly reach out to you as well and be happy to capture all of those details. So as I am letting that poll run here on your screens, I will take this time to go over the questions that have come in through the chat and make sure that I capture all the necessary information for you as well. The first, a new product or upgraded new features with the old Sage 1. So again, this particular solution is a completely new product. You could still keep your clients on Sage 1 Standard if you would like, or if you would like to upgrade them to Sage 1 Accounting, which is what it's called. We do have a link which will allow you to use the same email address that you've created that customer record with, and it'll allow you to create a second record, meaning that they'll have Sage 1 Standard and Sage 1 Accounting. Please reach out to either Mark Hubbard or to myself. We'll be more than happy to help you with that particular process. Electronically submit to the CRA from within software. So again, it creates the file for you that you can then download and save locally and then submit directly to the CRA. Another question that came in, I don't see an option to set up default tax code for customers and vendors. Is that available? So the tax codes are recognized according to the province, and then when you're creating your respective invoice or vendor bill, you would be able to select if it's just GST and PST or exempted altogether. Could you explain what you mean by doing presentations to our clients for us? Absolutely. So I myself, as I mentioned earlier, I'm here to assist your clients with the onboarding process. If you find yourselves that you've got a couple of customers that are not sure how to create their first invoice, we can set up a time. There's also my counterpart that's here, that sits with me in my office, so there's two of us. We'll be happy to set up a specific WebEx free of charge for you, and we'll make sure that we make them feel comfortable onboarding a solution. So we're more than happy to do so. Feel free again to reach out. Mark can organize that on your behalf as he has access to our calendars. So either communicate with myself or with Mark, and we'll be able to help you. Notes on the client profile. Can we have notes in there that our client doesn't see? Actually, and create, if you've given access to your customer, then they'll be able to see it. If you restrict the access to specific areas, then they won't be able to see those notes. There is, in your Accounts edition, however, when you create a file, before you log in directly into their version, you're presented with an intermediary page. There is a notes section specifically on that page that allows you to record notes with regards to your customer that they would never see because they dial in directly to the system, whereas you have that intermediary screen. Do we have the ability to add a free-form description line and a ledger account without attaching it to a product number or service item? Yes, when you are creating an invoice, and I just selected a default template, you can by all means just go ahead and freehand type it in directly into that section. Cool. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you whatever feature I talked about there that you thought was cool, I'm happy I could help you with that. Will the standard version still be supported? Absolutely. We are still supporting the standard edition. It's still very much in the marketplace. The only difference that I will bring out is that in terms of product enhancements, you'll probably not see any coming into the standard version, so what you see is what you get currently. Any future enhancements will specifically be on the accounting edition. You said $4 per month. Did you mean $4 per year? Yes, I did. Thank you very much. So it's $25 for the licenses. $99 for the licenses for 25 licenses. If you break that down, it becomes $4 per year for each client, which is a great value add for yourselves again. Can accountants sign into client files with them and help them with an issue? Absolutely. This is one of the benefits of our cloud solution. So through your Accountants edition, you have your own credentials when you send off the invitation that allows you to access your client files. They can sign in with their credentials in real time. You can both be in there concurrently and both be making changes. That is one of the definite benefits of the cloud accounting today. What is the annual cost for the 25 subscriptions after the promotion? It's very hard for me to say. At this point, like I said, the licenses are $99. We could very well continue this promotion for an additional month or two. We'll certainly be offering special packages for you as well when your clients mature after the first year. Because this is brand new right now, we haven't just deployed that specific strategy around that. The last seminar you hosted a few weeks ago, we were given the option to purchase 25 licenses for $25. How is this different? The licenses that were for $25 were towards our standard edition, which is the older platform of Sage 1. Again, if you've purchased those licenses, what we're doing is we're offering you a promotion that allows you to use those licenses that you previously purchased towards this better solution, Sage 1 Accounting. However, you must do so before the end of August. Again, feel free to reach out to Mark or myself. We'll be happy to set up a strategy plan with you to get that underway. Will it still hook up with Sage 50? Thank you for that question. So this being a brand new platform, and we have several different divisions at Sage. Our Sage 1 division has just finished, as you can see, and we've now made it available to the market space. We've now given the code over to our Sage 50 team, which are just compiling the difference with our solution and allowing you to have that integration. As the updates in Sage 50 are not as frequent than they are with our cloud solutions, we expect that in the next update, which will be in December, you should have the integration come back. But it's absolutely something that we're dedicated to and that we're working with and that we'll continue to work on in the future with. Next question that came in, is there a payroll section? present, there is not. Again, there is something which is called an API within this platform, which is an Advanced Protocol Interchange, which essentially allows one computer system to communicate to another. We're allowing our other solutions to go ahead and communicate, so we're just hoping that there'll be other payroll providers that'll be interested in connecting with this. We're also most likely going to be looking in 2017 at developing our own interface. So thank you very much for that question. Do I have any user limits? As the accountant, no, you have full access. So unless you specify alternate user rights, you've got full access as much as they do. When will SageU training be updated with the new product? Great question. I actually don't have an answer for you on that particular piece. I know that we've got the training done for the US version. It's just a matter of us updating a couple of slides, specifically around the text tables, and then we'll have that available in SageU for the Canadian edition. I'm sure Mark will be more than happy to send out an email when that is available to everybody that is interested in learning more on that. So I'm sensitive to everybody's time. There's a couple more questions that did come in. Is there a user manual that we can access? Absolutely. In the system, there is that question mark at the very top there that I showed you. You can go ahead and access the user manual. When Sage 1 training on the SageU be updated to the new product? So again, we've just covered that, but I guess two people are interested in that particular area, so we'll be sure to follow up with all of you when that becomes available. Hi, I am new to Sage Online. I work for an accounting firm. Is there a limit on the number of clients, companies that I can set up under my subscription? No, you can invite as many clients as you would like, and we certainly encourage you to invite as many as you would like. Can I easily import a client from Sage 50 to Sage 1? What are the advantages, disadvantages of Sage 1 versus Sage 50? Basically what you can do at present is setting up through the CSV import. I would say that the immediate advantages is that you can create a client file. If you want to put them under read-only status, you can certainly do so. It allows you for yourself to do all the updates. They can dial in at any point and take a look at the solution. It also gives you that flexibility of being able to work from anywhere at any point. You're not saving information locally on a USB stick. You have it available really where you have internet connection. Are the primary sources of advantages. There are a lot. We could make a whole discussion along this. Another one being obviously for if you have any customers that are using a Mac or an Apple computer, this being browser-based is a great opportunity as well for them, as it'll work on that platform as well. Other questions that came in, so going through, is there an app for the solution? We're deploying an updated version of the app. The good news is, however, if you're using an iPad, the screen is responsive, so you can go ahead and access it through the browser directly and go ahead and make those changes. Are there any limits on purchasing packs, or can I buy more than one? Absolutely. If you'd like to buy more than one pack, we will be more than happy to go ahead and help you with that purchase. No problem. How does Sage 50C play into all of this? Sage 50C is really an entirely different product. Sage 50C really what gives you is Sage 50 as a desktop application, so it's stored locally on your desktop with cloud offerings such as Sage 1 Standard to do your invoices and Sage Drive. The biggest difference is that Sage 50C is still singular access versus this is multi-user access from anywhere, anytime. Is there an Accountants Edition? Your Accountants Edition actually hasn't changed. So if you've already created an Accountants Edition or you need a link, again, we'll be happy to reach out to you for your Accountants Edition. The only difference is when you invite a client in the intermediary screen, you now have the option to select between Sage 1 Standard and Sage 1 Accounting. So that concludes all the questions that I had today. Thank you all for being so engaged. This has been fantastic. The last question that came in actually through the chat is, what is the cost if I only want one, not 25 to try? So the monthly fee again for the Sage 1 is $30 per month on a month-to-month basis. So by all means, you can sign up that way. I would still encourage you to use the licenses, even if you just have the one client. It's still beneficial from that perspective. And you never know down the road, you may have customers come through the door and that see that they're needing a solution like this. As for the individual that forgot to partake in the poll and are interested in the licenses, I have your name written down, not to worry. We'll be more than happy to reach out to you and help you with that process. Again, on behalf of Mark and on behalf of myself, I really wanted to thank you for giving us an hour of your day. I hope that you found this information informative, that you're able to use this solution within your practice and it's able to streamline your processes with your customers. Any questions, feel free to reach out to the both of us. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it.